Owned by Mustafi. Bellerin! Brilliant! 2-2!
Hector Bellerin, Hector Bellerin. Na. That's a song. Yeah.
All right, everybody. This was the club that looked like garbage against Tottenham a few days ago. It wasn't pretty, no style points for this win, but we don't give them back. They just beat Liverpool 2-1. Let's jump in. I'm kind of speechless here, Sam. They hung on. They didn't go for the throat. We thought they might go for the third goal. They actually tried to just build a perimeter, and they made it work for 45 minutes somehow.
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it, really. We built a perimeter around the box and defended for our lives, really. Some of the defending could be questionable. Not mentioning any names, David Luiz, but
go ahead and mention them. It's okay. They won 3 points.
Yeah. As I say, questionable defending at times, but lucky enough, we've come away with the 3 points today. Substitutions, as we rightly called Orba for Laka, although not the time-wise, it was 5 minutes after. It was 10 minutes, and we called that on. Mm-hmm. I was a bit perplexed by that, to be fair, because it looked like Aubameyang went over to the right-hand side. Yeah. Willock come on for Nelson and was playing as a false 9 when we was defending. But when we was attacking, it seemed that Willock turned into the number 10 and Aubameyang and Pepe was the 2 strikers. So, in effect, it was a 5-2-1-2, I believe. But when we was defending, it was a 5-2-3. So for me, the formation in today's game was a bit confusing. It baffled the hell out of Klopp. Because obviously we've come away with the win. But yeah, it's just a baffling game to try and describe, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, it's hard to describe this team. As we said, they had that little mini win streak. We got all excited about them. And then, we can really say the Leicester result was kind of down to that red card. But it really seemed to deflate them. And we kept talking on Sunday just how lifeless they were, Ryan, when they were playing Tottenham. We kept looking at each other like, when are they going to kick in? When are they going to kick in? It wasn't for lack of effort today, but it was all over the place.
Yeah, but sometimes, Sam said it in the first half, Liverpool have a structured, chaotic style. We just have a chaotic style. We have no understanding of how to play in midfield. We have no understanding on how to attack, but somehow we win. I can't explain it. The second half was a bit funny. It seemed like a game of FIFA, where the other team, when you batter someone, you have 18 shots on target, whatever, and then you lose 1-0. That's basically what happened in this game. Arsenal did absolutely nothing in that second half. I think they had one chance, and that was in the 90th minute. And somehow we've beaten champions of England. I can't comprehend how we've done it. But you've got to give Arteta credit. He made the right changes at the right times. Brought on Maitland-Niles to deal with Mane on that side. The pace-wise, I don't think Cedric and Holding was very solid against him. And then Kolasinac, although I gave him a lot of stick for what he did on Sunday, but he came on, was solid. And I don't understand how he played Pepe, Aubameyang and Willock. I don't understand that kind of, because we thought finally Aubameyang through the middle. No, not under Arteta. And I do think now this can put to bed that Arteta will never play Aubameyang as a striker. It's never going to happen.
Well, that's something to look at. That's going to factor into whether he stays, or maybe a factor into whether he stays or where he goes. But Dean, again, it was illogical, but when we look at a result, it was logical, right? He puts in Pepe. He has Aubameyang. Aubameyang's been playing on the left the whole time. Pepe's been playing on the right all season. First 15 minutes after the subs, they're flipped, and we were just wondering, what is he doing? The only kind of consistent player this match was Emi Martinez, who made a big save in the last minute.
Yeah, it was pretty, as the lads have both said, pretty convoluted formation system, setup, whatever. It absolutely baffled Klopp. Klopp was apparently out on the sidelines at the start of the match, before the match, trying to figure out what Arteta was going to do. But I'll be brutally honest. Kudos, first of all. We both called the right scoreline, me and you, Raf.
Yes, we
So
did. I'll take that. I'll take 3 points. I'll take it. I'll take it all.
No, I did say it was going to be nervy in the first half, and then we're going to come out in the second half and do it. It kind of seemed to go the other way around. But I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm not normally harsh on the team. I'm not normally hard when I talk. I'm normally, the guy that tries to find the positive in everything. But we were poor. We were sloppy. And I do feel we were lucky. However, if this was someone like Man United, if this was someone like Chelsea, even Liverpool now, they'd say that this is the performance of champions. They ground out the win despite playing rubbish, basically. This is what you have to do. As the guy said, this is the champions of England. They're the the Super Cup winners or whatever it is. They're the Champions League winners. They've got all these fucking trophies. And at some points, we did make them look silly with certain aspects. But we still know that we need to do a lot of work with our team. Martinez and the two fullbacks, as I said in the first half, were probably our strongest players today. Luiz was fluffing his lines again. Torreira looks like he's still got a little bit of rust going on. Xhaka was slightly becoming typical Xhaka again. Nothing was going on with Aubameyang. Lacazette, for his goal and for all these actions, otherwise, was still kind of, I don't like, I don't like, talking bad of the players, but we were not great today. And as I said in the first half, at the halftime, we didn't win due to our great performance. We were gifted both goals, but we held on, and that counts for something, in my opinion. We held on.
All right, I'm going to grab on something that Dean just brought up. Sam, nothing has been pretty since the COVID break, but listening to this now, 4 goals, 2 today, both goals, but 2 prior since COVID break, where Arsenal is just poaching mistakes. It's almost like, as you said, it's ugly, but it's becoming consistent now. Is this part of just, we're going to grind? Is this a manager who just knows, I'm going to take Ryan's term, he flummoxed Klopp? Is that maybe just kind of, I'm going to just throw it up and see if I can confuse him? I'm trying to look for a logical way to explain this match. Can't even get it out.
I don't want to be the guy that's always like overly positive, but you've got to really credit Mikel in this aspect, because in terms of creating, essentially, instead of creating chances, we're creating mistakes for the opposition. We're making them fall into our tactical formation traps. So we're setting up, cutting the passing lanes that most teams will go down, and that's purely down to the video analytics team, and also Mikel as well, as that being a part of his previous job at Man City. So in terms of the first goal, coming straight out from the keeper to Van Dijk, I think it was, for him to try and scream for a foul on that's laughable. For a defender of his caliber, I'm sorry, that is laughable. But props to Lacazette. He seized upon it. Great first touch, and then slotted it in. Got to give props to that. Second goal, straight, again, goalkeeping error. Alisson tried to play out to Robertson, I think it was. Again, Lacazette, straight on that, squared it to Reece Nelson, and great finish. But I think for us, we're setting them traps so they haven't got an easy route out from the back, because as we know, most teams now have the two defenders in the box with the goalkeeper will play sideways and will try and play to their fullbacks. So in that instance, I think that potentially you've got to give hats off to Mikel, but we can't rely on that for much longer, to be perfectly honest, because teams will get wise.
Well, thankfully, as I think we all know, he's not going to have to play with this squad as it's constituted much longer. Two more in the league. But Ryan, let's talk about one guy, a fence player. He's got 2 years in contract, so Arsenal doesn't have to move him. But it seems this week, Mikel was talking up Emi Martinez. It's almost like trying to sugar him, like, please stay. You've proven, just ladling all this praise upon him. He earned it today. Everybody, I think if we look at the Tottenham match, everybody was a little down. He really bounced back today.
Yeah, he had a great performance on Sunday against Spurs, and he backed it up again tonight. He was very commanding in the box. He came for everything. He won everything. He made that late save, which kept the 3 points safe. But one thing I do say is his distribution recently has taken a down. His kicking has been pretty awful. But other than that, he's been probably our best player since Leno got injured. He's probably been our most consistent performer. And I don't know whether Arteta is saying that to boost suitors or boost price, but he's too good to be a number 2. And I said it before the game. I said I could see him at Leeds with Bielsa, because he talks about Bielsa quite often. But I can definitely see him looking for a move away, because these performances have earned him that right. Whereas we know Leno is our better keeper. Leno is probably one of the best keepers in the league. But I can't see Martinez ousting him as the number 1. And I don't think Martinez will sit on that. I think he will look for a move, which he deserves, because he's too good to be number 2.
All right. 3 points, 53 points, very congested right above Arsenal. We didn't want to look at this coming into this 4-game stretch where they played Leicester, Liverpool, Spurs, and Wolves. They came out of it with 7 points. Not ideal. We looked to those 2 that they lost against Leicester, but still 7 points. They're only 3 points out of 6th place. European football is still very much in their reach. Still 2 matches left. Dean, I know we're all doing scoreboard watching. We kind of have to, but the 3 clubs ahead of them, Wolves, Tottenham, Sheffield, at 56, 55, 54 points, all play each other, or they play teams above them. I think Man United figures in the mix. Arsenal plays Watford and they play Aston Villa. So much easier finish, although those teams are fighting for their lives. We don't want to talk about Europe, but after Sunday we were saying, well, maybe they're better without it, but it's still there to be taken.
Yeah. I've said before, that if we didn't get Europe, that I wouldn't think too much on it, to be honest. It benefited Liverpool at one point, it benefited Chelsea, it's benefited United, having a whole season out. If anything, it may help Arteta with the rebuild, just dealing with the league and the domestics. However, I've also said that I felt we could at least finish 6th. I've always kind of constantly said 6th is where I kind of see us getting to. Obviously, I believe the guys figured out mathematically it's absolutely impossible for us to get anywhere really higher than that now. I don't know if 5th is obtainable if we win all our matches and everyone around us, including United, lose the rest of theirs. But I think 6th is kind of like if we're going to get into European places, that's obviously going to be the most realistic spot. I know that a few people I've spoken to think we can only get 7th. But no, Watford, Villa, on paper, they are very, very winnable. But as you say, when you've got teams, and I've said it before, and we've all said it before, when you've got teams nearing the end of the season that are fighting for their lives, when you've got teams that aren't mathematically out of it yet and can't just yet be relegated or fall into them spaces, they're going to be fighting their asses off. And they make for very, very tough matches. So the next two are going to be very interesting. But you've also got to look at what's to come this weekend. And you've got to look at us playing Man City in the FA Cup, because it's another route and another way into European football. We did it a couple of years ago with City in the semis and Chelsea in the finals. Could this be a repeat of that? Who knows? It's a different team. It's different management for us. But yeah, that's another thing we have to look at outside of the last two league matches, in my opinion.
All right. So, but let's come back to that, because again, there are right now two realistic lifelines. Well, how realistic is it to beat City? Well, we didn't think they would beat, or we knew it would be very difficult to beat Liverpool. Now they're going to play a City team. It's in a cup semi. Obviously, Man City's going to put their best squad out. Does this change, Sam, the way Arteta approaches it? He did a lot of rotation today. Does he need to do a lot more? Is he still trying to figure out who he can trust in a match like that, being that it has real importance? I mean, obviously, he'd love to win a cup in his first half season as manager, but also gives himself a second lifeline into European football.
Yeah, I think we'll see, I'd say, more of the first team regulars back in. I would be very surprised if we see Mustafi back in this team, considering I think Rob Holding done quite well today, and since he's come back post-COVID, that he's done well when he's filled in. So I think Hector Bellerin's probably going to come back in at the weekend. I don't think Mustafi and Kolasinac will. For the time being, I would probably expect us to see Saka as the left wing back, seeing the season out, which isn't a bad thing. But going forward, I'd either like to see him in a further position, either as an A or as a left winger. But needs must at the moment. He's more vital at left wing back for us. So in terms of Man City, it's difficult because you can say I'd like to see our strongest first team, but at this moment in time, because of players' performances and their lapses in concentration, it's very difficult to pinpoint an Arsenal first team. It's very much an Arsenal squad at the moment. So, yeah, moving forward, I'd like to see us trying to nail down the first team, but I think definitely Hector Bellerin is going to come back in as right wing back. But I don't know. We might even see a completely different formation under Mikel Arteta to try and surprise Pep. But yeah, it's, at this moment in time, it's very difficult to truly answer that question.
All right, let's look at Man City. Let's look at the matchup, right? I mean, Arsenal opened post-COVID against them, was competitive for about 20 minutes. Then Xhaka rolled an ankle, and everything cascaded downhill from that point. Again, maybe the one lesson we took from that, or there was two. One was that Xhaka was kind of the indispensable in the midfield, and that David Luiz is not somebody to trust coming off the bench. He's going to play with a depleted lineup. Obviously, the third match, Eddie Nketiah is not available. It would be nice to have him, given the questions that we have with Lacazette. It's almost like he's compelled to play him. But let's go back to a point you made. It looks like he's just not going to play Aubameyang in this centrally. Isn't this a match where he could try that, where it benefit them to challenge them? Especially given the frailties that you were pointing out weeks and weeks ago in your videos that Man City has in defense and against pressure.
Yeah, but I just go back to what Arteta said, how he likes his centre forwards, and he likes how they need to hold the play up, hold the ball, bring others into play. And Aubameyang, as good as he is, he's not that type of striker. He's more of a striker that's going to run in behind, give defenders nightmares on the half turn and whatnot. So I think if we are to beat City, we're going to have to play on the. We're not going to have the ball. Let's put it that way. We have to play on the counter attack, similar to tonight. But if we have Pepe and Aubameyang on the wings and Lacazette in the middle, which we don't want, but it needs must. So if we can hit them on the counter, ball over the top. I said it in the video that I made for the previous game. Ball over the top, press them as high as possible. They don't like it. They don't like it in and around them. They don't like the central defenders don't like the ball in behind. And we saw that with the 2 chances we had put Aubameyang through, and it didn't happen. Now, if Xhaka is on the pitch when that happens, he puts the ball through, Aubameyang's through and goal. So as long as Xhaka doesn't get injured again and David Luiz doesn't get sent off, I think we'd be able to trouble City a lot more than we did in the first game.
All right, let me stay with that, though, because I remember us having that discussion at the beginning of the City match, and he started Nketiah in that match. And I remember a couple of balls with Xhaka and I think David Luiz twice trying to get Eddie behind them, and he was getting behind them, and we kept saying, here it is. This is the tactic. Could work over 90 minutes. And then again, he lost Xhaka right away. Then he lost Mari right away. He had to work very defensively and kind of step away from that. As we've said it, all of us have said it. Sam said it. You've said it. Dean said it. Lacazette's not giving him that, as you said, the hold up option. Is there anybody else who can give him that kind of threat besides the obvious Aubameyang and Pepe?
What, down the wings
or in the middle? Either way.
No. In my opinion, no. But then thinking about it, I was just thinking, literally just a second, maybe that game does suit Lacazette, where he drops a bit deeper and then he brings Laporte or whoever's playing next to him into the midfield, and then Aubameyang and Pepe can run diagonally in behind. So it might actually work out for us, because we've got to find different ways of beating City, because trying to defend and counter-attacking them doesn't work, because they are better than us. So maybe Lacazette playing might actually benefit us indirectly.
Okay. Dean, I'm still amazed. 2-1 win over Liverpool. Again, here we are, a week and a half from the end of the season. Maybe if they win this game on the weekend, they buy themselves another week. They buy themselves another match. It seems like we're kind of running out of ideas on how to explain them. It seems Mikel's still got to try to find ways of reinventing this squad. If nothing else, I've been impressed by the fact that as his options continue to constrict, he keeps finding somehow, and as again today you guys were saying it, organized chaos, ways of reinventing this wheel.
Yeah, he seems to keep pulling it out, doesn't he? I mean, yeah, we've had the odd dip, we had the odd situation. Since Brighton, we've obviously looked a lot better, and then obviously the situation with, we should have had the Leicester game won. Unfortunate. And the whole situation with Spurs was very unfortunate as well, but it kind of leads back to that's kind of how we end up being. But you kind of feel like slowly but surely he's finding his feet with this team. Slowly and surely he's finding sort of what he wants. And then it just goes back to what we've always said and what we've always been saying, is that when he finally has his own players, when he's finally able to implement what's in his head, it's another FIFA analogy. It's like FIFA Ultimate Team. You start off with a squad that's just bronze players or what have you, and really not that great, and you've got to put centre defensive mids in right mid because you haven't got a right mid player on your squad. And the more matches you go through, the better you get, and the time comes you can start building that squad, and that's what he's doing. And it just seems like he's finding ways out, he's finding plans. But the minute he's got the system he wants, those plans that are in his head, when they come to fruition on the pitch, we will see exactly what he's been trying to give us, I think.
All right. Sam, we're trying to find ways to talk about this team. It seems like I think all of us want to just move away from this team. It's been an exhausting season with this bunch. Is there anything that we learned today about any of these fence players, about any of the youngsters that we can carry forward that changed the chemistry, changed the equation, for instance, of we have a pretty strong sense of who's not going to be here, who he's going to count on, or who he needs to replace. Did anything change today with this bizarre 2-1 win?
I think I need to single Rob Holding out. And I think that the way that he's played post-COVID has shown that he can be a valuable asset to keep around. For me, he needs a run of games where he can showcase his ability, because I think that he can be a very solid defender. We've also got to keep into consideration he is still quite young. He's come back off big injuries, so he's going to need a little bit of time. We probably won't see the best of him till maybe second part of next season. But for the time being now, he's doing what's required. The only issue I would have is if we're moving forward and we're playing either 5 or 3 at the back, is the transition and the lack of talk between our centre backs, because as we've seen today, Mane likes to run off a defender on the blind side of another. There needs to be that talk to say, he's yours now, so that player can either drop and pick him up or step to catch him offside. And that's literally right across the back line. But I think Rob Holding's done himself justice today and the way that he's played post-COVID. But unfortunately, in reality, I don't think much has changed for the rest of the team, to be perfectly honest. The players that have made the majority of the mistakes are on the bench. I don't think that we'll see them starting in the next what have we got now? 3 games left?
2. Aside from the FA Cup, 2 in the Prem. Yeah.
If you're saying the FA Cup as well, I don't think you'll be seeing them in that either, because obviously we're one step away from a final. So yeah, the players that have made mistakes previous this game, I think they're done at Arsenal. I don't think Mikel will have them around for much longer. But only really Holding, I can really say, has improved his worth to the team, I think.
Okay.
Because as I say, I just think he'll be a really good, valid, solid rotational option to have in the team.
All right, Ryan, and that brings us to you. We just got a couple minutes left. But again, interesting point that Sam makes, because again, we talk about how our calculus changes week to week. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking up Mustafi after the manager was talking up Mustafi, that he's been consistent. And then we talked about Holding, who'd been coming back from injury, getting better and better and better. And suddenly he kind of dropped down because it looked like Mustafi might stay because the manager said he might want to keep him. Now we're back. It's just kind of with these cards flip. Aston Villa's next. All right. You know where this is going. Is this the recruit Jack Grealish match?
Well, I just hope we keep him quiet, because if we don't, as I said to you last night, there's a clip somewhere where he destroys a couple of our players in the home game, which isn't very pretty. But yeah, I think we should just stop talking about our players, because every time we talk about them, they make a mistake. We bigged up Xhaka before the game, turned in an average performance. Talked about Mustafi, turned in an average performance. So if we stop talking about our players, we might actually get some better results. Okay.
Well, we can talk about this, all right, as we wrap it up. for Dean, for Ryan, for Sam, for me, Raphael. They beat Liverpool today, 2-1. And we wanted to thank you for, yes, it was a strange game, but the happy result. I'd rather the ugly win than the beautiful loss. And we got one of those ugly wins today, and I'm not giving it back. So for all of us here at Sports Talk Line to Say by the Bellerin, thanks for spending the afternoon or your evening, wherever you are, with us. We will be back on Tuesday. Actually, we'll be back on Sunday for the FA Cup match against City. And so until then, we want to bid you all a good evening or a good day. See you then.